Hi, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. I'm your very knowledgeable host, Vince Munn, joined again by Golden Delicious Time Metropolis.
Very knowledgeable.
Shut up.
Golden Delicious.
Very knowledgeable and Golden Delicious. That's going to be the new show name from now on. We're just going to have fun with it.
Okay.
We got a few topics to go over tonight, some questions we might answer, and hopefully get you giddy for May 1st, which is the release date for Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yes.
First things first, we would like to address the passing of TV and Hollywood icon Leonard Nimoy on February 14th. I'm sorry, I got that date wrong. What was last
Very
weekend?
knowledgeable.
Shut up.
It was... Oh, shoot. It was last
Saturday.
It was last Friday.
Okay.
So it was...
It's like the first. It was the 28th. It was the 28th.
Yes.
It was the 28th.
No, it was the 27th.
Okay, it was 27th.
Because March 1st was
That's
Sunday.
right. Sunday. Okay.
Very knowledgeable.
You know, you're just as bad, so don't worry.
I figured it out before.
Don't worry about me. All right, don't worry about it.
But no, his passing is.
Yeah.
You know.
The passing of Leonard Nimoy was very sudden.
It was a bit unexpected because I remember just watching that Oscars in memoir, and of course Robin Williams, seeing some of those guys, and it's like we really lost them.
Yeah.
I mean, they've still left their mark as far as entertainment goes and everything, and that's something to be definitely thankful for. And Nimoy is just one of those ones. I mean, even Star Trek 2009, the J.J. Abrams version, he was in that, even in Into Darkness. So it's like, even at his age, Leonard Nimoy was still willing to provide entertainment for his fans, and it just shows that appreciation, and definitely for someone like him, for as long as he's been in his career, it's remarkable to me.
Yeah, it was very sudden, very shocking, and that's something I really don't want to wake up to on a Friday morning. Wake up, look at my news feeds, and Leonard Nimoy's passed away. At first, I thought it was just a joke. You get those hoaxes and such, and then I go check the Hollywood Reporter and Variety, and it's confirmed, and it's very, you grew up watching Star Trek. My dad did, so Leonard Nimoy, was very, a big part of that. And watching the old films, Voyage Home, Search for Spock, Wrath of Khan, obviously, one of his best performances. It was very, very, I guess a little hard to digest. Obviously, a lot of fandom kind of went dark for a little bit, and just a moment of silence for that. And even I think at the Long Beach Comic Expo over the weekend, they had announced it over the PA system during the convention, and the entire convention just stopped and took a moment of silence for that. I mean that in and of itself shows you the impact he had on this geek, this sci-fi culture, this nerd culture. And a lot of people, will tell you they got into science, they got into astronomy, astrology, because of watching Star Trek and because of his character of Mr. Spock.
Not because of Scotty or anything like that.
Not because of Scotty. Some people even have, when DeForest Kelley passed away back in '99, who played McCoy, people come to him and say, I got into medicine, I became a physician because I saw you on Star Trek. And, it really is a testament to the impact these people have in our lives, and that it's something they may never know.
To me, I mean, you take things like medicine or any other type of profession, and as an entertainer, if you kind of dazzle it up a bit on the screen, it kind of does influence the youth to say, that looks really neat, and it's possibly, it's possible, so I want to dedicate my life to figuring out how to make this work, or provide research for predecessor, someone to possibly make this possible in the future, and they could do that with my notes, my research. So it becomes like, again, these actors, when they portray their characters on screen, they do have that type of power. And like you said, moment of silence at the convention. It's just
And so we just want to quickly address that and just say thank you, Mr. Nimoy, for what you've done for our culture, our quiet little corner of geekdom.
Thank you, sir.
Recent rumors have been floating around that Drew Goddard, who is the director and co-writer of Cabin in the Woods, is going to be helming the first Spider-Man film after Spider-Man returns to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There is no true confirmation on this. It is simply floating around the internet that he is rumored to direct and write the first solo film afterwards, taking the character into the new direction that Sony hopefully will go with in co-partnership with Marvel Studios in redefining this character for the third time. I'm fine with it. I enjoyed Cabin in the Woods. I like Goddard's writing. If you've watched Lost, if you've watched Alias, World War Z, Cloverfield, you've seen his writing. You've seen his talent. He's very creative. He's got a good bit of wit with him. Especially, you really notice a lot of good humor in Cabin in the Woods. I know a lot of people, as a whole, didn't really care for that film. That's fine. Each to his own. I enjoyed it.
It was more of a mockery of.
I thought it was more like a love song to classic horror to the classic horror film cliches.
To me, Cabin in the Woods was kind of like just like I don't know. It was kind of like a Scooby Doo thing.
It was a little Scooby Doo.
It was weird. I don't know. I mean, because you watch Scooby Doo and then you watch Cabin in the Woods, you're like, how does he tie those together? But at the same time, for me, it was just like, one thing is logically explains the next, and that was one thing actually Scooby Doo does for me when I was growing up watching it. So it just. Cabin in the Woods had that bit of nostalgic feel for me too, and actually, I mean, not saying that's how Spider-Man's going to feel. I will say the Tobey Maguire version, Sam Raimi, that one had the nostalgic feel for the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not seeing it. It looks more. I don't want to say modernized. I don't want to depreciate what modernization is, but. The thing is, you got to remember these movies, especially Spider-Man, it's based off of a comic. It has to have... Well, you would want to have that nostalgia feel. You wouldn't want to be like, oh, he's just like an everyday person, da-da-da. No. It really kind of zaps the whole universe. And that's the thing. The whole point of a movie and entertainment these days is to provide... a different reality, a different universe. Exactly.
Escapism. We don't go to movies. We don't. I take that back. We don't go. We do go to movies to experience social commentary, to experience mockery, parody.
Yes.
Especially mockery and parody, they're the best. But we don't necessarily go to movies to be shown honesty and truth and issues. The way we see them on the news or on TV and such, we want to escape. That's what made King Kong such a big hit in the 30s. It was escapism from the Great Depression. It was let's go to this different island, this different world that we don't know about, that we've never seen before, and escape our sadness and our current issues for a fleeting couple hours. And it obviously it did that. And that's why it's become such a classic it is. I think Spider-Man does provide that, especially with young kids, with teenagers. Spider-Man being written from the perspective of a teenager when the books were established in the 60s by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. To say Spider-Man is the most relatable character, I think, in comic books because everyone has been a teenager.
Yeah.
Everyone. You have been, I have been, you are listeners. Unless you're in high school right now, you're experiencing it right now. If you're past that phase, obviously, you know what it's like. You know that awkward phase. And just to throw on top of it, you're changing in different ways other than just, regular hormones and such. You're developing superpowers. And, you got all these weird new abilities. On top of everything else, it's understandable. It's very relatable. And I do believe they are going with the title of The Spectacular Spider-Man as well. The Spectacular Spider-Man, which also was a kid's cartoon for a couple of years, which I thought was wonderful. I thought it was a great show. It had a lot of great little homages to the movies as well as to the comics in the way it was designed. A little bit of a wink and nod to it as like, we know what you like and this is for you, the fans.
Another thing too is just because you're talking about how movies like escape from reality and stuff and how you can have fun with them. Just when you mentioned that, it reminded me of when we went to the screening for Jurassic Park. Everybody's just shouting at the screen, talking all the one-liners and stuff.
Yeah, those are fun. Midnight screenings for movies are always
just
fun.
To me, I'm kind of like, what would it be like if, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, I'm just kind of curious of what it would be like. It is a bit more
so a little fresh in memory
than Jurassic Park, but with Jurassic World coming around, I would like to see if they're doing another screen for that. That would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so it is a rumor for Spider-Man, but at the same time, I do know that, or what I've heard from this deal is that Marvel is going to help reboot the franchise, and we discussed this, one of our previous shows, is that Sony is expected to take over because they still retain creative rights.
Creative control and the rights to the character, correct. Yes.
And, yeah, the 60% and all that. So,
but Marvel owns the merchandising. So, I mean, if they can play ball together, you'll see some awesome Spider-Man toys.
You're going to need to get Mel Brooks promoting that movie. Merchandise.
Well, this morning, The Hollywood Reporter had announced that Luke Evans will be playing the role of Gaston in the live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. Disney is moving forward with their live-action adaptations of their classic films, like they did with Maleficent, like they're doing with Cinderella right now, like they did with Alice in Wonderland. The next one on their slate is Beauty and the Beast, starring Emma Watson, is confirmed for the role of Belle, which I love. I mean, watching her grow up in the Harry Potter films, Perks of Being a Wallflower, even My Week with Marilyn, she has a supporting role in there. She's a wonderful actress.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not only is she a very pretty face, she's a talented person. She's someone worth watching.
Able to get away from that Hermione, yeah.
She's able to step out of her role of Harry Potter in the Harry Potter franchise. Mm-hmm. And I think this will be great. And so yes, they've announced Luke Evans as Gaston. Luke Evans you've recently seen in the Hobbit trilogy as Bard the Bowman. Dracula Untold.
He was Dracula.
He was also in, I believe, Fast 6. Fast 5 or Fast 6?
He was in Fast 6. He was the villain, Shaw.
That's right. He was the main villain, Shaw. They have also announced that Dan Stevens is in negotiations to play the transformed prince from the Beast. Because remember how at the end of the film, Beauty and the Beast, the Beast changes back into the prince that he was. Dan Stevens, best known for films of The Guest and Downton Abbey, is in negotiations right now with Disney to play the role of the prince. Now I'm wondering if that will just be the prince, or if he will also play the Beast as well. I'm kind of hoping he does both. Well,
at the same time, though, you got to get someone who's capable of doing the mo capture and all that.
Well,
stuff
I think motion capture is being understood now as true acting.
Okay. As
not necessarily an effect, but as real performance.
I know this is kind of going into our next. Well, we'll be getting there in a second.
Okay.
But is Mark Ruffalo doing the mocap for the Hulk, or no?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo does the motion capture for the Hulk on set with the actors.
Okay.
Just much in the same way that Andy Serkis did it on set for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and for Lord of the Rings, and even for King Kong. He did the motion capture on set with the actors, or as much as he could. It's really grown and progressed more. One film that people forget about as far as motion capture goes, which I think is a shame because it really showed you how great it can be, is The Adventures of Tintin. That entire film was motion capture. All the characters were motion captured.
Yeah. And I remember when mocap first started arriving on video games. Even one of the biggest advances, I know this is deviating from movies a bit, but I'm just talking about mocap in itself. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about like PlayStation and stuff like that, when they design those characters or animate them as they would, in relevance to computer 3D animation where they design Woody and stuff like that, they don't use mocap for someone to animate Woody's arms and stuff like that. They do that through a computer
straight animation
programming and stuff. With video games, just like the transition from PlayStation to PlayStation 2, PlayStation games, it was sort of that, where there was no mocap. You had to do all the character movements with computing, programming, and all that stuff like that. And then once mocap came in, it just looked and flowed like, wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even in movies now, they've found a way to make it acceptable, make it more
believable.
There you go.
Well, speaking of Avengers, today Marvel Studios released their third trailer for the Avengers Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron will be releasing in theaters on May 1st. Mm-hmm. Certain theater chains, such as Regal, AMC, will be doing marathon screenings.
AMC. It was only announced AMC at this time.
It's just AMC? I'm sure Regal will jump on that.
Regal will jump on it, because there will be a lot of people that would want to do it. We're going to do it because...
Certain theaters are playing all 11 films, so you would start with Iron Man from 2008 and go all the way through the entire... chronological stories up to including Age of Ultron. Phase 1, Phase 2 into Phase 3. And then some theaters will simply be playing just an Avengers marathon. So you watch the Avengers, the first film, and then you'll watch Age of Ultron next.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Again, my only concern with these types of things is that I know a lot of these movies are then redirected into 3D, and it gives me such a headache.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. I haven't read completely the marathon, but it did say 3D.
It did say 3D.
Damn.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to squeeze that extra penny. I mean, to me, that's the only reason 3D exists, is to squeeze that extra couple dollars.
Well, the nice thing with marathon screenings is that they, you get one price, but even the price you're getting is wonderful for the amount of movies you're watching. Like when we a couple years back we did Thor screening, so we got to watch Thor, then we watched the Avengers, then we watched Thor: The Dark World.
Oh yeah, that's
we got 3 movies for I think like $25.
Yeah,
that was a good deal.
Yeah, that's one of the other longest ones. The other long one I did was the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah,
where it was
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Yeah,
those are the 2 longest ones for me. The marathon would be possibly that definitely would be the longest one for me. I mean, I've seen movies that last for about 7 hours. One movie in particular, I'm just going to shout it out, 10th Kingdom. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
10th Kingdom? Yeah.
It was an ABC
miniseries. I remember
movie
that.
series.
Yep.
2 hours every Sunday or something like that. But, I mean, I have it on DVD, and it's like I've actually sat through the whole thing in one night because I wasn't doing anything. That's a long night. It was a long night. I wasn't doing shit. No. And I was like, fuck it. But...
Okay, so getting back to the trailer. This new trailer is giving you a lot more insight into the character of Ultron. You're finally seeing a little more of the Scarlet Witch character, played by Elizabeth Olsen. Mm-hmm. Quicksilver, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. We do get a quick, very quick, like maybe 2 seconds, shot, very up-close face shot of the Vision, played by Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany has been providing the voice of Tony Stark's Jarvis AI for his suits for all the movies. Mm-hmm. Iron Man, Iron Man 2, into the Avengers, Iron Man 3, and now he will actually physically playing a role in the team as the AI of the Vision.
I'm just kind of curious because it's like maybe Jarvis, because we've had our anticipation about what's going to happen with Jarvis, especially after Iron Man 3, since Tony Stark destroyed all the suits. It's like, where does Jarvis go from there? Which is why you did fill me in on how Ultron created Jarvis, but Ultron may have hijacked. Or Ultron created the Vision, but Ultron he may have hijacked Jarvis to
the Jarvis tech into his own system, to create,
So I'm kind of wondering if that's how it could tie in. Again, this is just my
pure speculation,
it's my speculation, but it'd be kind of cool because it's kind of like taking that bit of like even he says in the trailer, like I'll take hope from them first. It's like even for Stark, like Jarvis was not just an intelligence; it was kind of a balance for him too. Same with Pepper Potts, but it's like taking Jarvis away from him. It would be like taking a piece of Stark away. So it'd be a good.
A little more personal, I think, for him.
It'd be a bit more personal, and I think it would be good development as well too. So,
and one thing I really liked about this trailer is with the first couple trailers that they released for this film, one of the big focuses was the Hulkbuster armor fighting the Hulk. So Stark's armor to take down the Hulk against the Hulk. That was really the main focus of the first trailers. This one is still in there, but it's really not the focus. It's more the team. It's showing really a lot of the team. We get to see little moments. Obviously, the resurgence of Loki's scepter from the Avengers is brought back very quickly. It's a blink and you miss it scene, which I do believe will tie into Guardians of the Galaxy and the overall scheme of things of the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet, corresponding with Thanos. I'm getting very deep into geek territory now, so if you're not up to speed with this, I'm sorry. Getting back to the trailer. We get a really good little show off of Scarlet Witch and just how the powers that she can do is mind manipulation, is telekinesis. She can screw with your head, with your reality, which I'm really hoping we get to see a lot of neat little flashbacks to characters' pasts and maybe their darker sides and their darker moments that they don't talk about or they don't want shared or want known even. Like even noble characters like Captain America, I'm sure, has darker moments in his own personal life that I'm hoping we kind of get to highlight. And you really feel with this film that it's gotten heavier. I mean, they even talk about, there's a line in there where, we may not all make it out of this alive. And I'm really hoping that's true. I'm really hoping Joss Whedon is famous and even infamous for killing off loved characters. I mean, he's done it on Buffy, he did it on Serenity, he did it in the Avengers, but Coulson lives, so I don't know if that really counts. So I think he will do it again in Age of Ultron.
You mean actually kill off one?
I think he may actually kill off one of the characters, and I think they may actually stay dead.
I mean, I already have my prediction on it. I'm not going to really share it here. Because there are what you call the founding members.
Yeah.
And then there's
the rotation.
The team
that comes through. Yeah.
I was just right when you said it's like, yeah, someone's going to die off. I'm like, oh, please don't tell me they're going to introduce Spider-Man who dies 5 minutes later.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Spider-Man blast gone. What is he? He's a splat on the wall. What did he use? Giant fly swatter. Bug jukes.
But there was a couple things I didn't notice with this trailer as far as between the second trailer. The second trailer did show a bit of the... who was the Black Panther's mistress or wife or something?
I think one of his guardians. I think
Guardians,
what
right? What
she was.
Guardians. Yeah. They did have a scene with the cave.
Very quick, yeah.
The cave.
Very quick.
And it does seem the trailer 3 was more, or this new trailer was more, just kind of like what you would typically expect. Mm-hmm. From like where the Avengers is now, but like when you watch the second trailer, you're like different parts of the world. Even wasn't there a scene in London or something like that?
I know they're in South Africa. They're in I think Korea. Mm-hmm. I think they're in Germany. I think they kind of do a lot of map jumping. They're going to be in New York, obviously, to reestablish Avengers Tower. They do a lot of map jumping in this film. I think Whedon said even more than the first film. Because the first one you kind of went on, India, Russia, and such, but I think this one you're going to travel a lot more with the characters and really make it feel more universal. That these are heroes who are renowned around the world for the work they do, and not just like Captain America is obviously an American symbol, but he's not just recognized in America. He's an international hero. To the world. And they all are. I think it's going to represent that. I think it's also going to show the kind of threat they are to the world as well with the powers that they do have. And I'm hoping that will then tie into Captain America Civil War when we have Stark and Cap go head-to-head over the Superhuman Registration Act, which is basically all the superhumans have to register with the government, reveal who they are, what their abilities are, how strong they are, how powerful they are, and be kind of coded by the government into categories of danger to American people.
If I recall our discussion before, you were saying Captain's against it, isn't it?
Against, yes.
Yeah, and Iron Man's for it.
And Iron Man was for it.
Tony Stark's for it.
And I think this movie, if they go in that similar direction, I think this movie will establish why. Because I think we're really seeing this film will really show the danger of Stark's technology with him finishing the Ultron project. He basically says in the trailer, I want an armor for everywhere in the world. Basically creating a version of himself in an AI form.
But remember
to be a peacekeeper around the world.
That, it's interesting because you actually, right when you mention that now, and I mean, I've actually thought about this earlier, but what was the whole point of Tony Stark, with Stark Industries? What was the whole reason he created the Iron Man suit? He stopped his weapons division. Well, it's kind of like now he started...
The original reason he created it was to get the hell out of that cave.
Well, yeah. And then he
saw the potential of the suit and what it could really do. What better things he could do by keeping his technology in the right hands. Because, he sees that his tech, his weapons, are being stolen, are being black marketed, and being used in the wrong way that he'd never intended for it. And so I think that's part of the noble vision of the Iron Man suit and why it was developed and created and furthered on. And I think what Iron Man 3 kind of showed was too much is too much, in that he created so many suits that could do, the most minute different things. And I think it became overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so he destroyed
and that PTSD thing, too.
Yeah, the whole PTSD.
Because he has so many different suits.
Going through a wormhole, yeah.
The other thing, too, is just with so many different suits, and being that they have so many different characteristics, it's kind of like Tony's putting in a personality for each one. And Ultron, what this kind of leads up to with Ultron is that it's kind of like putting maybe all those personalities together. What do you think?
Into one, like a clashing of minds. Could be.
That's just like his way to unleash, because he had 40
suits? 42 suits.
42 suits?
Yeah.
But let's see, as far as the trailer goes, we were checking out a couple things.
Yeah, we were doing a few little screen grabs and just like going through it frame by frame. And one thing we caught towards the end of the trailer, there's a bird's eye view. A bird's eye view of the team together in a circle.
It's right after Chris Hemsworth, Thor. He taunts Ultron. He's like, "Is that the best you can do?" And he's like, "You had to ask." It shows actually a sequence of, like, I think it's a single shot of Captain America fighting
some drones,
and then it shows the bird's eye view. And from the bird's eye view, I know I didn't see this at first, and it was just kind of one of those things that I was like, there's kind of like an extra number here. So we stopped it, and we actually started looking at each of the characters in the circle, and we picked up that Scarlet Witch
is fighting with the Avengers. Against Ultron's drones. I'm kind of wondering, because the way this trailer plays it off that Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver are working with Ultron against the team.
That's true.
That's how it comes off.
There is a scene that, scene even I went to earlier was it was Tony, Captain America, and Thor. They were on a bridge confronting Ultron and Quicksilver to Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
But somewhere in the transition, Scarlet Witch ends up fighting with the Avengers. And we did try to take a look at the stills to see if you could see Quicksilver moving around. He's probably off camera, and at the same time too, you probably wouldn't see him, considering if he is fighting, because he should be moving at insanely fast.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one thing. I mean, it now makes you think, is like, how are they going to turn him around? And
I don't know. Because that just makes me want to see the damn movie already.
I wanted to see the movie before that, but it's just like, I mean, the other thing too is there's so much going on. Like I said, the differences between trailer 2. What's
the Twila?
I don't know what a Twila is. Twila.
Golden Delicious with the
Twila. The difference between trailer 2 and trailer 3 is just that, how trailer 3 feels like it's more at home, more New York. Trailer, it's besides the scene in the snow where they're fighting. Now
that's a great little hero shot too. I mean, you got this kind of like, almost like a pan and scan move, and you see that all 6 of them kind of jump, and it just slows down and just lets you kind of savor the moment. Like, this should be an artist's panel. Like, this should be drawn by like Jim Lee or Leno Yu or Paulo Rivera. It should be like drawn by them, and how beautiful. I mean, you have them all kind of almost lined up, going down in like almost like a height order, and you have the Hulk in the foreground, and you have Thor in the background. And it's really cool, and just the way it's set up, you almost miss it. You almost miss that all 6 of them are right there in line. And it's just really cool. It's one of those moments that I can't wait to see it and what it is and what's exactly going on. To give you a hero shot, like, I know in the first film, one complaint that I heard from people was they never said Avengers Assemble, which is basically the battle cry, which to me would come off as a little hokey to me. Yeah, while they didn't say it, they did it. But when you get that full 360 pan around the whole group, that's a quiet way of saying Avengers Assemble. And that's what I'm thinking this scene is as well.
When you spoke about that, actually, I just recently watched Godzilla again, and they're playing on HBO. And the part where they're on the carrier, and he's briefing, what was this scientist again? Sorry. He's briefing the Admiral on what they're dealing with, the monster from the Pacific, which is Godzilla. He's kind of like briefing the Admiral and his other shipmates, whoever was also in the room, captains, and he does like a slow turnaround. He's like, we call him Godzilla, and just to me, it was too cheesy for a very
kind of takes you out of the moment.
It really did. I was like, oh, I like literally. I see that scene. I'm like, it's just I'm not feeling the magic of the film right now. I feel like it was a cheesy homage, but it just felt out of place. That's why you say with Avengers Assemble, Yeah, it may have been there for the comics or the cartoons or whatever
Mm-hmm.
like that, but in a movie where you're trying to have a bit of mature... It is a bit of maturity, yeah, because it's live action.
Yeah.
That's what people still ridicule anime movies and stuff for, and as I spoke to you, it's like, even, not to deviate too much, but talking about animated movies, Ghost in the Shell Arise, as far as maturity goes, damn. I mean, that's why, like, when they announced Scarlett Johansson being Motoko, it was like, wow, they could actually make this work. But for other reasons, complications, it's in this place where it is now. And so, what else in the trailer? The Vision. The other thing, too, is you see him at the end, and when you see him at the end, what are you expecting?
I'm not expecting anything.
No, but it's just like when you see something in a trailer, you're expecting to see him somewhere else. If anything,
right? we went through that trailer again, and we're looking around for Vision, and they're very smart. I mean, obviously, if you're a card player, I'm not, but if you are, you never want to show your hand.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love that they've been doing with the marketing for this film, is the Vision's there, you've seen him in promo art, you've seen him in promo posters and such, and little concept pieces that have leaked out, have been released, but you've never seen him really in the trailer. You've never seen him really in action.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. That makes you even more so want to go see the movie, just to see what he's going to do. And that's one thing I loved about the Ant-Man trailer they released back in January. When people complain, where's the humor and where's this and that? I'm not going to show you everything,
right?
Because then you're not going to want to see the movie.
Yeah, I've seen my share of trailers where they show you, like, even probably, I would say Rush Hour 2 and Rush Hour 3, they showed a lot of humor in the trailers, and then by the time you see the movie, you're like, oh,
you already know the jokes, you know the bits.
I already know the jokes, so it's like, when you hear it, you're like, it just doesn't feel fresh, doesn't feel new, so you're kind of like, just move on. Let's see the rest of the movie and let's see how it plays out. And it ruins the comedy aspect or the action aspect or whatever. If you're expecting it, right? Which is why, like, another thing too, you actually see studios and directors, they're starting to tackle down on people that leak photos. I mean, for instance, someone had a front image of the Sith with the tri-saber and Star Wars Episode 7. Someone had an image of what he looks like, and they posted it up online. I still haven't seen it myself.
I haven't seen it.
I don't really care for... I
really don't want to see it. I mean...
Not the picture, I'm saying I really don't care for the movie. I mean, the other thing, too, I actually got in a debate about kind of how, like, actors at a certain age... Actually, I think this was last week when we were talking about... Luke,
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah.
How it's like, some actors, they should be just left alone. It's like, they're at their age, leave them alone, let them go. You do want to portray the character, you do want to do it with the original actress, but it's one of those things that just leave them alone, and,
I haven't seen that Star Wars picture. I mean,
even studios, they tackle down on
they're getting heavy on that. Even when the first trailer for the Avengers leaked online, I mean, they made light of it. They made light of it. Yeah. Roll with the punches
earlier or something like that.
You roll with the punches basically, but they're still actively, I think, pursuing that in court. Yeah. So I mean,
well, because it's also property.
It's copyrighted. Yeah, intellectual property. And why would you be a dick and do that? I mean, it's going to come out anyways. Why would you do that? I mean, you're not helping anyone.
People like the publicity. People like it. They're like,
I guess.
But so going back, trailer-wise, was there anything else that really stood out for you? I mean, we know about the relationship.
It feels a lot more brutal. I mean, you're really seeing these heroes getting their asses kicked in this trailer, which I think is good. I mean, you saw a little bit of it in the Avengers and in their individual films. But this one looks very heavy-handed on them. As in, like, they're really going to get tore up, I think, before they see the silver lining. And I'm glad for that. I mean, I want to see... if you don't believe anything can happen to your heroes, what's the point of it?
What now, just out of curiosity, I know the film Last Avengers goes about this a little bit. Nick Fury. Oh wait, yes, the last Avengers film. Sorry, or first Avengers film. Nick Fury and the Council.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you think their dispute's going to be still ongoing?
No, because S.H.I.E.L.D. has been dismantled from
Winter Soldier. Yes, that's right.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone. So basically, these are basically people who are funding and running themselves.
Because the other thing, too, I'm kind of curious, is like, was there members of, I mean, most likely members of Hydra on the Council?
Oh, I'm sure there were.
Yeah. I mean, it would just been one of those things that I would have kind of liked to see addressed, but at the same time, it's one of those things, like, we already know there's so much going on in this movie. To be able to address it, I don't know, maybe they could do an extended version.
Right,
like Lord of the Rings. How they got their extended cuts, like Avengers extended versions. That'd be cool, but yeah, that's just wishful thinking. So,
well, as with all CineMunn podcasts, we like to watch a movie while we are doing our podcast, just to kind of get us in the mood and get us excited for it. So tonight we are watching Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
It is probably my favorite of the Marvel films so far, with my favorite hero. Captain America is a personal favorite hero to me for many reasons. Both personal, actually mainly personal, what he represents. So, this has been a CineMunn podcast. I am once again joined with the golden delicious Time Metropolis.
Very knowledgeable. Thank you.
Yes, I am very knowledgeable.
No.
I'm your host, Vince Munn. We'll see you next time. Take care.